Hello! Didn't expect us back, did you? Hello. We apologise for the outage. We fear... No. Oh god, I'm hearing myself back on my own broadcast. What a fail. Right. Apologies for the outage. We think Smithy, in an effort to go and have a 15-minute break, might have accidentally fallen asleep. Which is understandable, but at the same time, it's not exactly good for the broadcasters. From what I gather, it's been about 5 hours of silence and looking at cars. So, yes, we do apologise for that. Unfortunately, I was asleep, and if you can tell from my rather strange commentary voice, I really should still be asleep. But nevertheless, we're here. We're going to try and take you to the end with people, at least. And with me, once again, is Will Panisi back in the box, and Dave Smith, who said, please, we need someone. And so I've answered his call. He's lovely, and he's been all on his own on cameras for the last 5 hours, so he's an absolute saviour, and he's doing an absolutely wonderful job for the league, as is Will. And perhaps we've got about 5 hours to go, Will Panisi. We do have, you know, this event still going, all 13 cars still going, drama everywhere, but no drama in the sense that, you know, we're going to be seeing incident reports after this race. I mean, overall, it's still been an extremely successful event.
By all means, James, first of all, good morning, everybody. Hope you enjoyed so far through the night, and you're enjoying this 24-hour race. Yeah, coming back to your question, is an absolute success from a racing perspective. We have all the cars still running beyond our expectations. And to have them running in way with relatively small gaps, especially up front, is even more remarkable. So all good so far, and we hope that the last 5 hours or so are gonna go. Well,
I think it is certainly worth giving you guys a little update. If you didn't stick with us through the night to watch the cams, and if you were, or if you're just waking up and tuning back in to see how your team's doing, there was briefly a battle for the lead, but not between the two teams you might expect. Enterprise GP and Smile Power Racing were battling down the two huge straights here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Close stuff. Didn't know what was happening. I'm just going on what Dave has said here. But unfortunately, for Enterprise GP, that is, the man in the car, Boyd Bryson, had a couple of moments and lost the front splitter. And so right now, Smile Power lead the way, cruising around with Fran Lopez, not really doing anything too silly. And you have to go about 2 minutes and 6 seconds behind them to find Eric Strana in the Enterprise, doing another great stint in that car, but you fear that the minute or so gap which he had to recover from his last stint it's doubled essentially. And though there is still 5 hours to go, there's still plenty that can happen. You can feel that unless something does happen in the technical department or in the driver failure department, Smile Power looking on course to finish the 24 Hours of Le Mans here at GPVWC on the top step of the podium. Now, surprisingly, those two teams are actually the only two teams on the lead lap, and by some margin as well. You may ask, where has THR gone? They're down in 4th place. For a team of their organisation and high caliber racers and everything, surprisingly they made a rookie error by the rulebook. They had a couple of drivers join with the same cars, and I remember it was Nick Dawson-Lathan who had a similar problem with the Cosmo car earlier, and so that meant that they had to suffer through a couple of penalties, and so where does that put them? That puts them on lap 268, whereas Smile Power Racing have just headed onto lap 272. Not only are they behind those two, but they are also off the podium. That those time penalties actually put them behind Drake Racing, who is now a lap ahead of them, roughly. It is actually, by the look at the timing, pretty much a lap ahead of them. And so Drake, just by keeping on the road, by not doing anything silly, they've had a pretty skeleton crew. Or they've had a pretty small skeleton crew here. Only 3 drivers, similar to Enterprise GP actually. After a couple of moments in the whole season of series of things, losing drivers throughout the event and whatnot. So Drake on the podium now, in place of THR. And again, I don't think that unless they have any serious problems, they should be challenged. Then to go through the rest of the order, we have 2 laps back from THR. We have Simcraft still there in 5th. Good recovery drive considering their connection issues. But you can only imagine what would have happened had those connection issues not happened. Then you have FA back another 2 laps on 264, coming with Team Toyka. Then the Mazurek Adonis car is on the same lap and 28 seconds behind with Victor Silva. So unfortunately, they are the closest 2 cars on track. TSA is then a further 2 laps back from them, with Philip Morby in the car. We then have the Waters car a further 9 laps back, with Roy Verzil now in the car. And then another 2 laps back is Woods, with Ollie Woods in the car. Then another 2 laps back is Quinton Plain with Cosmo. Another 11 laps back then is Marius Nicolai in the rather ill-fated Drake Vobble Racing Car 2. And then Deltec, bless their hearts, the
well, it seems like this seems to be quite a significant field spread in certain places of the field, but still we could see something interesting in the next few hours. I've been noticing since we started the review, gap that Enterprise has on Smile Power went down by magnitude about 5 seconds, which is not much when you're 2 minutes behind, but we still got a long way to go, and you never know. In the real life Le Mans race, how everything can happen until the very end, and necessarily rule anybody out in the top 3 at least, in terms of being able to emerge victorious at the end of these 24 hours.
Yes, that's right, Will. And Thomas is here. Just joined the commentary team here. So
welcome, Thomas.
Yes, I will. So I join in because I see that we're a bit lonely here. So I'm doing bugger all, so I may as well help.
There's always welcome to have you here, and obviously you've been racing earlier. Do you want to keep us up to date with how it went from you, and sort of what you faced over your list since?
Well, yeah, I was on during the night stints for me. Well, the first one was. The second one was more of a morning stint. But the first one was interesting. It was very, a very big experience to just be jumping into the night and going for it. A couple of instances, just getting into the groove took a bit of time, but it was right. By the end, I was feeling pretty good getting into the groove of it. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge. So, but it was good fun.
Well, that's one of the most important things, and obviously, I mean, you survived your stint, and you put the car. Your car is currently 8th place, if I'm correct, looking at the time rankings. So, in terms of your team, did everything go into plan, or did you experience any unforeseen circumstances that sort of
Well, it all went pretty well. I had an incident or two myself. I think I went off once or twice that required a pit stop, but that was just my own mistakes. Just me just getting braking points wrong or anything like that. But for the second changeover, we did have to disconnect and take the penalty because we went to switch, and of course, being over here in Australia, our internet is a bit slow. So unfortunately, it disconnected, so we had to take the penalty. But the first time, it switched all right, so that was surprising. But yeah, the second time, unfortunately, we had to take the penalty. But aside from that, it went pretty much to plan, really. So, which is nice.
Well, that's very, very good to hear. And yeah, we've seen a few occasions in which driver swap obviously confirms to be one of the most critical moments in terms of connection, and especially when certain distances are allowed. I remember the first issue we had in this race with Harley Hamnet, again another Australian that first to take a penalty. Disconnection reason upon a driver swap.
Yeah, me and Harley, we know how it's like. The two Aussie bros, we know how it's like to lose connection all the time, because we do. But I was glad to see I'm not the only one. I thought I'd be the only Aussie to get it, but it seems Harley was having it as well. And I think I saw as well for Simcraft, who was it? The German, I've forgotten his name, but I think he DC'd twice as well. So they had, 4 DCs so far, so they've been very unstable so far, so not particularly good for Simcraft.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
That counts so much for the actual current positions they're in.
I'm sorry to cut in, guys. I'm just hearing news through from the Smile Power team, and I have noticed it on live timing as well. Apparently, Fran Lopez, our race leader, has hit the wall. I'm not sure which wall it is, but Eric Strana has caught up an instant 8 seconds on our race leader. So, I was going to say it was going to be a tall order for anyone to finish this race with completely no incidents at all. We've seen the Enterprise car, the latest car to fall victim to that, losing that 100% record of no incidents whatsoever. And Smile have had their issues, actually, haven't they? Fran Lopez, in the night stints, was having force feedback issues, and so gave the car over to Jesper Torborg the first time the issue was found, plugged on through with it the second time he was in the car, but yeah, I mean, the news I'm getting through here is that it's costing him 10 kilometers on the straight. So, and plus remember that in the pit stop, that's going to be a longer time for anything to be fixed. We could have a battle for the lead again.
Yeah,
well,
so.
To be honest, sorry to interrupt. To be honest, Fran had looked a bit shaky in a few moments before hitting the wall. Into the sand, and it didn't look as assured and safe a drive as he had been doing previously. I mean, obviously he's a talented driver, and he was doing a very good job. But again, this is a track that punishes every mistake, and we could have absolutely a race. And I see now the gap between the Smile car and the Enterprise car with Eric Strana is 156.
Well, perhaps we could actually. Well, I mean, we can actually get a full update on this because we've actually got Smile Power team owner Mike Bell in the room. So, what's going on, Mike? What's the problem?
Well, Fran just clipped the wall a bit, and it's unfortunate that we've lost a lot of straight line speed, but I think we have enough of a gap over the Enterprise so that we can get the car pitted, fixed, and back out again without having too much of a concern, fingers crossed. But
I'm just looking at the car now.
I know you wouldn't want to agree with me, James. But no,
well,
we actually put your guys a lap down during the early morning, which was good. I lapped Strani when he spun. Go me.
That's fair enough. I mean, as I say, I want my guys to do as well as they can. I am not, I hope they do well. We were aiming for the podium as a team, but as I say, as a team owner with this certain event, for me, it doesn't really have any impact on a championship or anything. It only has an impact on the guys' championships, in the driver's standings. So I want them to do well, and if they've got a sniff of a race win, then I'll be supporting them all the way. I'm just having a look at Fran's car now. It doesn't look to have any bumper damage, so I'd presume it is only suspension damage, which shouldn't cost too much time in the pits. But I reckon with all of the damage and everything, it's probably going to cut the gap down to something that we saw in the early stages of the night stints, actually, where the Smile was leading by about 40 seconds or so.
It's gonna be around about that, but obviously you guys, the Enterprise is, what's the word? Out of pattern with the pit stops.
Yes.
And our mathematicians over at Smile Power, all Lewis McGlade of them, has estimated that EGP will have to pit one extra time between now and the end of the race than we do. So that's
I see.
That's about another minute or so that EGP have to claw back to win.
Right, it's good to have a little bit of rivalry. As I say, I mean, before that little clip, I was pretty adamant that it looked like Smile Power had, well, all they had to do was not keep it out the wall, and they'd be safe running home into the race win. But what's it? 4 hours to go. It's 10 o'clock. Use me maths, James. So 11, 12.
5. Just
5.
5 and a quarter.
Just about 5. So, it's plenty of time to go. I say plenty of time to go. But has how the event for you, apart from that, has it run relatively smoothly? We knew Fran had those force feedback issues earlier, but apart from that, I've not seen many problems at all in terms of driver changes or anything like that.
Yeah, we haven't. I know me and Reese Gardner, who just for the record is also from Australia, we sorted out the driver swaps as best we could last night, and they haven't been an issue at all today, so that's good.
If only we had your luck.
Yeah.
It's all about the method. There's method to the madness.
Yeah, we tried different.
The secret is not touching anything until you get full control.
Yeah, well, we found that, and we also found matching the throttle that the other person was doing seemed to work sometimes until the last stint. But yeah, it was touch and go, or for a lot of it, but at least it worked for one of them.
Well, it's needs to say how successful this event has been overall, in comparison to plenty of other 24-hour events in sim racing which I've seen fall by the wayside of it. Perhaps I could get yours, Mike, and yours, Thomas's view on whether you'd like to see more stuff like this from GPVWC. We already have the 24 hours of the Nordschleife coming up on the 30th and the 31st of August, hopefully with some touring car legend cars for the Master Series as round number 4. But when it comes to next year, would you like to see this sort of thing happening once again, or do you think it's perhaps one of those one-off events that you're glad that you did it, but maybe another time, like in long way off in the future?
You first, Mike.
Well, during the race, there's there's been the drivers that have been in Smile, and there's obviously people that are helping us out, like race engineering and spotting and things like that, like Lewis McGlade, Danny Asbury, Ben Hackerson, Scott Beresford, people like that. And we've all kind of come to the agreement that we'd want to do some more of these again, but we prefer if it was in prototypes next time. So it's some LMPs, bit of mixed class action, but this has been a lot more fun than all the previous 24-hour races I've done. Where
perhaps because you're leading?
No, because the entire team binned the car last time, and
right.
We had so many penalties that we were miles off everybody else.
So it's nice rather to actually have a race that goes relatively smoothly than all those previous instances.
Yeah. I think the worst thing we've had is when I first got into the car, my very first lap, I just thought it would be a good idea just to go straight through through the first corner in Sector 3. Went into the wall, lost some time and some straight line speed there, but thankfully gained it back with some clever tyre work, and now we're leading, so it's not gone too bad even through all of the what's the word, inconveniences that have happened, such as force feedback.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a little comment on the action on track. You can see the THR closing down the drag racing #1 car at a rate of knots, and you might be thinking, is this a battle for third? Well, unfortunately for THR, no it isn't. This is essentially to get themselves unlapped. So it'll certainly be a nice little boost for the THR team to make sure that they're on the same lap as the podium men, but unfortunately I reckon that it's more going to be down to the fate of that, as I like to call it, the drog ball car, just makes it easy to say. Really, they will need a miracle or a nightmare on the drog ball car's parts to be able to catch up to them, and it's going to be a full 4 minutes or so behind them once they're unlapping Morten Wernerson, who's currently in the car. And I'm not sure who is going to be in the THR car next. I think we're expecting Davis to come back for a final stint, so don't count anything out from THR in this battle for the podium. There's plenty that can still happen with both cars, but yes, don't get too confused. This is not a battle for third at the moment. But perhaps then we can look more towards, well, I mean, we like these LMP cars, but would you really want mixed category cars? You know, because one of the problems I find with mixed category cars is that when you have lapping going on, you know, in these sorts of cars, it's fair enough, you're the same class and you're not going to have differing speeds and, you know, catching up to someone too quickly before they realise. And that is the main problem I find with the LMP cars. If we were to just throw them in with another class, would you rather just have LMPs only, or are you still going to be adamant on the mixed class?
I think the mixed classes would be brilliant if there was enough people to have maybe 19-20 cars per class. It adds a whole new dimension of it, because say you're in an LMP2 and you're battling for position with another LMP2, you've got GTs that you're going to be catching and passing, and then you have the P1s that are going to be catching and passing you, so it's many different layers to it other than just, you know, pure speed. Like this race is just the driver in the car going around. Strategy, consistency is really all that matters. Consistency, strategy and speed is all that's really mattering at the moment.
And what about yourself, Thomas? Have you got any preferences when it comes to 24-hour races? I mean, I remember earlier you were saying that you weren't exactly a big fan of these Porsches, a bit too oversteering for you, so perhaps the likes of the LMP cars might be a bit more nice for you, with lots more downforce chucked on the car?
Well, no, actually, what I actually said was you got mixed up the track. I like the oversteering. I actually do like Porsches. They're enjoyable to drive. It's more the track. I'm not a huge fan of the wall, I'll be honest. I know it's a classic track,
okay.
but yeah, it's just something about it. I'm not a huge fan. Too many straights, I think. So, but to be honest, I'd like to do more of this. It's been a lot of fun so far. Certainly something new that I haven't done before. Mixed class, yeah, I think that could work. I mean, you have to get the numbers, of course, but if you get the numbers together, that could bring an interesting element to the race, you know, because everyone will be different pace. You've got to think about the GTs and LMPs and all the different kinds of classes. But yeah, that needs numbers first, and 40 cars on track, you need a lot of drivers for endurance races to make that happen. So, but if it could, I reckon that'd be something I'd very much like to get involved in. It would be very new, that's for sure.
I tell you what would be a real challenge: 24 hours of Bathurst in V8 cars.
Oh.
It sounds like a tasty prospect. Trust me, V8s are not easy to handle, especially on a controller where second gear suddenly becomes a death trap. You cannot floor it in that gear unless you've got it ridiculously long, because otherwise you'll be spinning all the time, thanks to the ludicrous amounts of torque. Oh, the THR bangs the wall, I've noticed, actually, on the broadcast. I should really be looking at R-Factor since I have it open.
Young seems very loose recently. He almost spun it coming out of the final chicane.
I did notice that.
He's been in the wall a couple of times. THR had a really bad overnight stint where the driver swap fail initially from Toby Davis to Van Navarro, which caused a crash and a penalty, and then the van had probably the worst luck I've seen so far in his stint. That car kept finding its way to barriers, and then another driver swap fell between Van Navarro and Tommy Ayala, cost them some more time as well. And now Now Yunt's in the car that looks very second-hand.
I must say, one quote stood out for me with from Danny Asprey when he was in the commentary box last night, and he said that he was having a chat to the THR guys, and they were extremely confident. In fact, they were scarily not scared at all that they were going to do anything but win this race. Would you perhaps say that in that regard, perhaps a bit of overconfidence is what's led to these what is essentially rookie mistakes? This is not reading the rules. And what it's meant is that they're now a lap behind the guys on the podium, and they're likely not to finish on the podium unless that car ahead does have a massive off somewhere.
Well, the Drake they're trying to chase down, that's a very experienced team that I don't think will make any rookie mistakes. But with THR, I think the whole problem started when we believe they switched up their schedule in the middle of the night to try and pull a gap over me when I was driving, and it led to Toby pushing harder and harder and harder, and eventually binned it, and that just led the whole landslide of mistakes that they've had coming. So it's definitely overconfidence on their part, but it's a quote that someone else said a while ago. It's something like minnows decide when the sharks eat, or something like that. And basically it means, the smaller the part you play, you can have a big impact. Like, for example, in Small Power there's Jesper, Fran, myself and Reese. And me and Reese are the minnows in that what's the word? Anyway, and because we've pulled our weight better than, say, the THR minnows or the Enterprise minnows, that means that Jesper and Fran now have the track position just to go on and win this race.
That's a very good point. Very good point. I'm just loving the thought of an overconfident shark. Well, actually, talking of overconfidence, let's see how much confidence should we place in these teams by regards of fastest lap time. So the man with the fastest lap of the race so far is a man not in the car currently. Harley Hamnet overnight set a blistering 3 minutes 55.4. The man may have connection issues, but he is a very, very fast driver in these Porsches, and hence why he won a race at Silverstone 2 weeks ago in these sorts of cars. Different class, I mean, these have a bigger tank than the WSS cars, but those who watch that championship will know that it is pretty much exactly the same car, and so well done for Harley.
They handle very similar.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Fair play to Harley, nevertheless. That lap is 1.4 seconds faster than the next team with the fastest lap, so I don't see that being beaten anytime soon. That next team with the fastest lap is actually a Smile Power Racing, a 3:56.8. I'm doing what Simon was doing earlier, and that was led by Fran Lopez. Very, very competitive time, very fast. We know he's very fast normally, but as Will was saying, he's looking very dodgy in this stint, unfortunately, and that's cost him by crashing into the wall. Next up is Lynx Enterprise GP. Eric Strana has set a 3 minute 57.3, and actually should be noted that that team is now with Boyd Bryson back in the car after a nap. He'll be hoping not to hit the wall once again and continue the good progress on the leaders Smart Power Racing, which Eric Strana has made. Then next up is Waters Automotive. Well down the order actually. In where are they now? They're P9 after a number of issues, unfortunately. But Eric Tveit, potentially the saviour of that team, keeping them relatively competitive. I'm doing a one again. 3:58.0 done by the Norwegian. I'm putting them nicely up there with the rest of the front runners. Then it's THR, Toby Davis is 3:58.6, keeping them up there, but surprisingly not up in the top 3, or even 4. The fact that Waters is above them is actually quite a surprise to me. And actually more of a surprise is perhaps that Team Toyka is only a 10th behind that fastest lap with a 3:58.7. Then it's Morten Verneson's team, I think James Johnson setting a 3 minute 59.5. And then we head into the 4 minutes. Drake's second car with a 4 minute 0.1. Wick's TSA with a 4 minute 0.5. With Zurich and Donis with a 4 minute 0.5 as well. Woods with a 4:05 407.1, Posmo with a 406.9, and Deltec with a 408.6. So relatively, still rather close between all the teams. It's nice to see everyone on relatively similar pace as well in each of the little groups. As let's see how that gap's doing. Well, obviously with the pit stop from Enterprise, the gap has now come back up to 3 minutes 18.2. Still the only unlapped car of this field is the Enterprise, but given that Boyd is slightly slower than Fran, even with the damage, I think we might see the potential for that. Is there any other close gaps? Not really. Mazurek and Donis have just pitted as well, from what was a 30-second gap back to FA, and now they've got Mike Schroten in the car, so all a bit quiet out on track. And I think I'll leave it up to you guys to find a conversation to talk about, because unfortunately early morning James is a bit void on ideas.
It's fine. It's all good. I'm sure we'll come up with something. But yeah, it's certainly interesting. Of course, this is the time of the race where it all sort of quietens down, as I've noticed. I mean, when I was out there doing my stints, it was a bit quiet, especially just before, like a couple of hours ago. It was very quiet. I was sort of on my lonesome there, just sitting there going, well, this is a nice Sunday drive.
Yeah, occasionally see it, someone popping up in front, catching them, disappearing, wondering what happens to that car.
Yeah, no, I had that for mine. It was very quiet for a lot. I think only one car passed me, and the rest of it was just me sitting there having a nice chill. But I think it's nice though, when driving around, you get to sort of just relax and enjoy just driving the car, and not have to worry about stressing about people passing you in battles, all that kind of thing. It's a nice, peaceful thing, I think.
I find it so peaceful that I kept getting to look at my my fuel, and I get to a point I was just like, what's that yellow light? Oh, that's my fuel. I've got one left.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of it sometimes. It's a bit tough. Certainly good fun though. I've been having a lot of fun going around, but yeah, it's good to see the pace of these guys pretty close together. It's good to say.
Speaking of pace, Fran is going to be pitting in the next maybe 5 or 6 laps, and he'll get that damage fixed. And the rate I was pulling away from Boyd when I was in the car was quite a lot, and Fran's quicker than me, so I see that gap opening up between Fran and Boyd even before our next driver swap, which is going to be for Jesper Tolborg, and then for me again to the end of the race, because why not?
Just sharing strategies here, we've pretty much got Boyd in for our next, well, we've got this stint, then we've got our next stint, and then after that we've got a Rude in the car for the final 2 stints. So I reckon it's going to be a closing job for Enterprise in the last stages of the race. The question is, can he close enough?
Can Rude catch me?
Yeah.
I see.
That's the question. And also, I think it's going to be fair to say, you know, how much damage limitation can Boyd put on this gap? We know as he's probably out of JT, Fran, and himself. He is absolutely the slowest of the drivers there. He can pull in the odd good lap, but not exactly stellar in regards to the likes of Fran and JT. As I say, I think it all comes down to how fault-free that Smile can go around the track, whether they have any unanticipated problems. Otherwise, I don't see many problems with them in terms of driving. You're laughing.
Well, we've had several little issues over the course of the race thus far.
Little issues? You've not had a massive issue. You've not had like a Harley-Hamnet disconnection.
Well, losing about 35 seconds because of someone's force feedback inverting with no way to put it back. That could be classed as a big issue, but...
As I say, it's not a Harley-Hamnet disconnection, though.
No, it's a fair
I
point.
mean, you've not had a 5-minute penalty to contend with. I mean, if you have a 5-minute penalty now, that's you ejected from the race lead instantly.
Yeah, no doubts about that. I don't remember who it was, but it goes back to this overconfidence that people were saying each car will definitely be getting at least one of those penalties, and some teams have even planned their strategy around getting 1 or 2 of these disconnection penalties. So it's preparing for the worst, whereas we've just sort of said, okay, we'll do this, go. and it's working out for us.
And we never actually prepared for that. We prepared for potential drivers pulling out, which did happen, and we were all prepared for that. But we haven't actually prepared for a disconnection or a crash of any sort, and so that's perhaps why we're a little bit out of sync now with Boyd's crash. Yeah, it's interesting how different teams have gone about it, and it's also what I find interesting to see how people like Deltec still have the motivation to keep going. They're now 43 laps behind the lead. I'm not sure. I think we're running it on. If they run the full 24 hours, then they're going to score points. So if they run 75% of the 24 hours, then they're going to score points. Like with GPVWC, we usually run 75% of the laps, then your result will still be classified. But I can't understand how they have the motivation to still be going after all their issues. Because it's fun?
It's fun. It's an achievement to finish one of these 24-hour races.
Yeah.
Just for the enjoyment, and not just speaking of them, they both had just had a little bit of a trip with the wall there at the first chicane. But I'd say it's just for the enjoyment. That's what I'd say. And personally, I'd be the same. Even if I was off the pace, I'd still, I'm not that quick. Obviously, I've shown I'm not that quick here around in this 24-hour, but it's fun, and I keep going because I have a lot of fun racing. So sometimes if you just really enjoy it, you can get through not being up the front, I find.
Right then, so
in the meanwhile, back on track. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problems.
David Junt has finally closed with the car in front, which is Morten Venesen, and he's desperate trying to move through. Obviously, after his little contact with the wall, he had dropped down to about 3 seconds, but in the last couple of laps, he's been closing in, and he's now basically right behind Werner, and he's trying desperate to go through.
Yeah.
Again, this is not for position. This is
just to unlap himself. Yeah.
But he's been able remarkably to close the gap almost at will, despite a few mistakes. And obviously, with Toby coming in the car later, I'm not aware of what Drake Volvo Motorsport strategy is. But obviously, with driver of Toby's class coming in the car later, you can't discount them yet.
I think the question for Morten is, what do? You've seen David have a number of issues along the way. Do you therefore let him pass, as David actually does move out to the right here into... where are they gone now? Yeah. Still side by side. But I was going to ask, actually, I'm sorry, I've gone on to R Factor, not the broadcast, which I'm now on R Factor. So, would you be safe in Morten's situation and just let him go? Or do you do what Morten seems to be doing now and just keep on going on his merry way and making it hard for David to overtake?
Well, he definitely doesn't look like Morten is letting him go that easily.
No. I think he's very much taken the opinion of, he's made mistakes before us all. The Deltec holding up Morten massively through Indianapolis, I think that corner's called.
Yep.
I hope so. Good. I've learned something. Excellent. And that Deltec's been causing a couple of problems today, actually, but gotten out of the way nevertheless. But now David Junt's gotten a nice run off of that corner. But then again, it doesn't seem like he's got the good enough straight line. No, I mean, Morten's got great straight line speed, and I wonder whether that THR car's running a bit more wing, which is unusual for a THR car. They usually find a way in the setup together, a lot of mechanical grip down so they can actually run the better sensor. And Morten locking up massively. And David Junt now trying to go around the outside. Oh, nice move from David Junt. Taking advantage of the lock up, but Morten's still there. How he's still holding on, I do not know, but surely David's got the inside of this corner now. Surely he'll have it. Yes, he does. That is one lap taken back. He's got another lap to go, though. And especially with the two huge straights in Sector 1 still to come, Morten will probably be able to stick to the tail of David pretty easily.
Well, it looks like the front of that THR is incredibly beaten up, so it's entirely possible that Junt's actually down at straight line speed because of that, as opposed to the wing, because obviously we've had issues at Mall that caused us to lose some straight line speed, but our front ends never look quite that bad. And how that still has a front bumper is crazy. It's misshapen and looks funny, but that will no doubt be slowing them down rather than them running wing, because from what I can say, I'm pretty sure at least most of the top teams are running one wing around here just because of the straights. It's too much time lost if you don't.
So that's more of a body damage problem for David rather than a setup issue as such. We'll have a look now, coming down this first straight, how much Morton closes. I think this was tackled earlier by Matthew Williams, where we, obviously the gearing in these cars can't be changed, and so everyone's going to reach the same top line speed, apart from if you're in a slipstream, you'll maybe gain about 5 kilometers an hour more or so. Morton doesn't seem to be too worried. He's not exactly perfectly lined up in Yunt's slipstream there, and yeah, I think that the THR driver is nicely ahead now, which shouldn't have too much trouble pulling away. Perhaps this is going to be a good thing for Morton, though. He knows that threat of the THR is no longer behind him, and he can just get down to work, make sure that he's going nice and consistently through the rest of the stint, because I've said this point a couple of times before now, THR really need a miracle with that drag racing car in order to even have a chance of getting back on the podium.
Well, they got THR are going to have Toby in that car, so you can be sure that Toby's planned his gears into turbo overdrive to try and catch up, which could work, might not, but that Drake car has got a pretty strong threesome in it with Morton, Roy Schroten and James Johnson, so none of those are really slow, so I don't see THR catching up even with the speed of Davis.
It's a threesome which is hot and spicy, I can tell you that for sure. 3 very capable drivers, and actually, look at Morton. He caught up almost the entire gap down that second straight, and I think Mike Bell's hit the nail on the head rather well there. It's going to need a much better driver than Yunt. Not to say that Yunt's a bad driver by any stretch of the imagination. He's the guy who led the WSS Championship for the longest amount of time this season. He's just not got that killer pace which the likes of Butcher and Davis have. And actually, if anything, it looks like Morten Burnson's going to try and lap Yunt once again. He rides on the back of him, and poor old David. One must ask whether he should have taken the effort to get past Morton in the first place, because it seems like Morton's just as likely to lap him now.
Oh, if you're Yunt, you obviously want to crack on, but I mean, as you were saying about Yunt, another accolade he has, he currently is the joint most amount of podiums in this season of WSS, and interesting enough, he shares that with his teammate Jesper Tolborg, so both Smile Powers, and me. So that's
fancy that.
That's a fun fact. Yeah, those reverse grid races, they love me.
They love David as well. In fact, he's the only he's won all.
He's won all of his races from reverse grid. I think that was what James was trying to say. I don't know if he's disconnected or what. James?
I'm back. Okay, but yeah, as I was saying, David Yunt has won the 3 races which he has won this year from those reverse grids as well, and so they benefit a certain type of driver. And to be fair, I'm seeing David, I'm surprised to see him a bit off and about, really, not looking too comfortable, because that seems to be his forte when it comes to reverse grid races, getting through the pack nice and easily, and then not having too many.
Well, you don't, you are not speaking anymore.
That's on a side note, Simcraft looks like they're pitting now for their pit stop. Looks like Roland's staying in the cup.
No, they're going to put Matt Riches in, I think. Oh, no, they're not.
No, looks like
I was misled.
Roland, so. They're obviously playing some alternate strategies here, trying to lead you off.
Right, for the sake of too much smile power now, we're going to have some Enterprise GP in the ring. So, welcome back to the room, Eric Strana for Link's Enterprise GP. Another very successful stint, taking the car's fastest lap of the race, putting them into the top 3. A shame that you've fallen a bit behind now, unfortunately, due to Void hitting the wall, but some nice time gained back on the Smile Power, especially with their suspension damage.
Yeah, that was quite a successful spin, I think. I think I managed to reel in Fran by about 20 seconds, which was kind of what I need to do. I could have willed him in a lot more because my game decided let's minimize. Just when I got on track, so it minimized twice on the first half lap. So I spun once, and as Mike is pointing out to me right now in private chat, he lapped me, which he's very proud about. So well done, Mike. You lapped someone who had spun. But yeah, all in all, very good stint.
So, as far as I'm aware, and I should be aware because I'm team manager, I'm not sure what's going on within the team chat itself, but I believe that was your final stint in the car, with Boyd now taking that for another stint, and then you got Rude in the car until the end. So has it been an enjoyable experience for you? You know, have you enjoyed working with the team overall? Have you enjoyed the atmosphere of the 24 Hours of Le Mans? And might you be tempted to come back and try out the 24 Hours of the Nordschleife and Touring Car Legends near the end of August? This event.
Oh yes, I will. Definitely. Yeah, I haven't done it. I haven't done any endurance racing after this, but this is. I really didn't think I'd have the patience, but it turns out I do, and it's actually a lot of fun, especially with these cars. It's a really nice combination, track arc. So yeah, it's and I'm definitely gonna try and either for the 24 hours. Oh, isn't it 12 hours on Nordschleife?
No, it's 24 hours on Nordschleife. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. Neat. Even better.
Neat. Yeah. Must be said, Lynx Enterprise GP has had a bit of problems in the actual driver department. You've had a couple of people pull out, and so it's been a bit strained actually for the team. How has that been for you personally? Because I know you've had to take on extra stints which you wouldn't really have wanted or weren't really expecting in the car. So has it taken a bit of a toll on you personally, or is it all another stride in the day of Eric Strana?
I wasn't really expecting much. I was kind of expecting it to change. With we had 6 people and 3 dropped out, so I'm not surprised that it got chopped around a bit. So I wasn't really preparing. Okay, I'm going to do that stint and that stint. I can sleep then. I've just been spontaneously driving and sleeping when I don't have anything to do. So it's you do what you have to do, and it's fun. So it's actually motivational to get up after you get 4 hours of sleep. So yeah, it's not another day in the life of me, I don't think, but it's definitely a bit unexpected, but it's not that bad. It's easy to cope with.
I must ask this. Which...
Oh, Yunt's off.
Oh, Yunt's off.
Sorry, James. He went up in the final chicane and went straight across. It just missed the wall. He lost it on the first half of it.
Oh, it's nothing that car's been doing all day. It's not too bad. Is it? I suspect he's got a little bit. Oh, he's completely missing that front bumper now, isn't he? Or did he just miss it? Yeah, he did just about miss it. So very, very lucky moment for David Judd. As I say, not looking anywhere near as comfortable as he is in his Smile Power WSS car, and I can only imagine that's because he's catering towards the needs of perhaps a Butcher or Davis setup. And believe me, those setups are tail happy, something which I, as a controller user, certainly hate, and I'm pretty sure a number of wheel users like Yunt wouldn't like it either. So stays ahead of the Drake racing car, which will give him a boost of confidence, at least that he's able to put out such a gap on him that even with that off he was going to stay ahead. But he doesn't want to have too many more of those, and more off. He doesn't want to hit the wall at all, because that'll just mean more time in the pit to lose to Drake, and more of a job for the likes of Toby Davis to do once they get back in the car. Going back to what I was talking with Eric here, bit of a quiet period for you in Enterprise on track. Would you have rather THR and Simcraft not have as many problems, so you had more battling, or are you actually happier that they had the problems so that you're now in second position though, with not many people to battle alongside?
From a competition point of view, I guess it would be nice if they didn't have that problem, so that you actually, instead of battling, in our case, essentially just one car, you could battle 3 or 4, or 3 or 4. But on from a nerves point of view, it's pretty relaxing knowing that THR are 3 laps down to us. So that is it helps keep the nerves down a bit, so you don't overdrive the car and go around, putting in the wall and put in the gravel and whatnot.
Excellent. Right. Well, if you don't mind, we've got some traffic coming into the room now. So thank you very much for joining us, Mike and Eric. It's been a pleasure to have you lot. And make sure to pop back in a bit later, because no doubt I will be gone in a short while, as there's preparations for us to be going up to Wales today, as I was saying yesterday. But yeah, thank you for joining us for now, and we will catch you a lot later.
Yep.
Right. And so now, hopefully, through the magic of TeamSpeak, we can welcome Andreas Waters into the room. How are you this morning, Andreas?
Hi James, I'm good. Pretty exhausted, but good.
I can imagine. Waters have the 4th fastest lap of the race through Eric to bite, and the car is currently in 9th, albeit about 10 laps behind your next competitors in TSA.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this race? Has it been a disappointment? Has it been a success? Has it just been an experience?
It definitely was an experience so far. I wouldn't call it a disappointment. Of course, it's not a huge success. We're in P9. The fact that we're 10 laps down is mostly due to myself. I'm not very fast, but I think we did pretty well overall, given the circumstances. There was only 2 of us essentially. In the beginning we had Nico, of course, but he had to go after 2 hours, I think. And then it was just me and Bart, and we were very, very lucky that Eric Tveit and Roy Verzeel wanted to jump in the car and do some stints. Because I don't think we would be still driving if they weren't.
Well, we certainly wouldn't want you as our first retirements of the race. We've still got all 13 cars going, which certainly says a lot about the league as a whole, that we have, such dedicated drivers going for so long, and especially no terminal crashes is quite unusual for a 24-hour event, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like it though. It was definitely a good experience. I did the night stints, a lot of them, which were very hard, but then I got into when it becomes light and happy hour starts. That was like an amazing moment for me. In the night I was doing like 412s, I think, at most, like 412s, 415, something like that. And then it became light, the sun came up, and I was doing 406 all of a sudden, just because the track got better. I got, I don't know, maybe happier. That's how they call it, isn't it? And then, yeah, that felt good. And I think P9 is a good result overall. Also nice that everyone is still going. So,
absolutely.
great.
And has this race actually given you the motivation? Therefore, I believe we're entering teams for the Nordschleife. I don't think anybody could do 24 hours on their own, surely.
If I can just jump in there, James, it is actually 12 hours. I had to check myself.
Oh, is it really?
12.
Is it really? Wow. There must have been a problem along the way, because it was 24 on the wiki. Oh well. So is there going to be teams for the 12 hours, just very quickly?
Yeah, it'll likely be a very similar scenario to what we've got here.
Ah, there we go. Right, so 12 hours of the Nordschleife then.
yeah.
Will you be entering? You'll be there. You'll be there.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
Definitely be there. And I hope that time we can find a more sure lineup. We were gonna be 4 of us, and then there was only 2 in the end. But yeah, for a 12-hour event, I don't know how many drivers that would be. We will definitely be there, try to make the best of it. And I kind of like the endurance part of it. It's the first time I did it myself. It can be exhausting. It definitely is exhausting, but you get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
I think there's
even
certainly
though it hurts.
there's a lot to be said of, the first achievement of 24 Hours of Le Mans is finishing 24 Hours of Le Mans. Actually getting to the end, regardless of how many laps down you are, the fact that a car has been going for 24 hours straight is an incredible achievement. And the fact that you are in the top 10, you are 9th, and it's a good, strong position considering the apparent lack of drivers that you had. I mean, I thought I had it bad off. I didn't realise that Waters were that down on men at the moment.
Yeah, we started with a lot of drivers, and then people couldn't make it, or Florian got an injury at his leg. I think 3 days before the event during football, he tore a muscle, I think, something like that. And obviously, it's not smart to then go racing and using pedals and things like that. So it's logical that he isn't here, but we had to find a way to make it with just a smaller lineup, and I think we did just that. Of course, we're not in the top. Maybe we should have practiced a little more before the event also, but the rest was good.
Let's talk a bit about Andreas Simracing, if you don't mind, because you had a bit of a in and out season. You've been in a Super Cup, you've been out, you came back for Silverstone, which was lovely to see you there again. But you seem to have found enjoyment in endurance racing. Can we expect to see you back for the 12 hours of the Nordschleife driving again? Or, I know you're taking part in Open Series as well. What are Andreas' plan for the second half of the year?
Yeah, basically I started in Super Cup. I knew it was going to be hard, and the first part of the year was very, very hard because I was so much down on pace with the improved grid and everything. And I also had little time because I had to write a thesis, and that's basically why I dropped out. At that moment I didn't enjoy the driving, and now that's all over. I have more time. I did the Open Series thing, which basically boosted my confidence a lot. If you finish second, yeah, you basically enjoy it, and then you can get back into it, find motivation. I'm definitely gonna try to do more driving. I don't know if it will be Super Cup. I think Fox Racing has 2 great drivers now with Roy Verzeel, if he sticks around, and Christoph is of course still going. But yeah, if I can do Super Cup, I will maybe do Open Series or something else. It doesn't really matter for me where I drive because I'm not in there to win it yet. I know that I'm not that fast, but it's fun, and I think I will also try to do the Nordschleife if it fits in my schedule. Should be fun.
It'll be lovely to see you there. Just to quickly bring your attention back to the track, Smile Power Racing with Fran Lopez have just pitted. Remember, they've got suspension damage to repair as well. Though I doubt they will be coming out behind Enterprise, as they, at the time of pitting, were 3 minutes and 38 seconds behind. So plenty of a job for Boyd to do. As I say, I expect Smile to pull away during this stint. Fran and Jesper definitely the faster drivers. The stint to be interested in is, well, probably a good thing for the viewers, the last stint, where Mike Bell takes over the car for Smile, but Ruud Heesterbeek comes into the car for Enterprise, and it'll be a case of how much damage limitation can Boyd do in the car now, to give Ruud as easy a job as possible to try and take the race win, essentially, by the end of this 24-hour event.
Do you think you can still take it to the front? Is there a chance that you might take it?
There's a small chance, but I think Enterprise needs a similar thing to happen to Smile, as THR needs a similar thing to happen to Drake. The gap is a bit too big, in my opinion, and we could have done without Boyd crashing it in the night stint. Not to say that Smile haven't had their problems necessarily, but they haven't been forced into a full pit stop as such. They took a drive-through to replace Fran with Jesper when they first discovered his force feedback problems, but they haven't needed to fully pit again for a full amount of damage, like a missing front splitter. Neither have they had a driver swap issue. Fran just comes out of the pits now, so we'll find out very shortly what that gap has been slashed down to. I imagine it'll be about a minute and a half or something around there. But yeah, small chance for Enterprise to win this race, I would say. but it will need something wrong to happen on the small power end in order for a true battle for the lead, side-by-side action to be able to happen.
I just want to say, Andreas, a quick question here. Just with the setup with all your drivers, was it easy to get the setup to work for you guys, for all your different drivers? Obviously, you got different styles of driving, like we have with us. With a few of us have different styles, so we have to cater for all these extremes. Were you able to find a good middle ground with your setup?
Yeah, I don't think we have the fastest setup out there. We lack a bit of straight line speed compared to the top guys, I think. But we basically made a bit of a compromise because I'm not very confident compared to Bart, for example, and he could have been able to run wing 1 or wing 2, but then I wouldn't be so good in the car, so we did wing 3, for example. So that compromises us a little bit, but it was a good middle ground. In the end, now Eric is driving, and with the pit stops we changed the wing to 1 so we can go full out. Yeah, I think we're doing a pretty good job now. The setup worked for us to an extent, and
we've certainly been consistent, staying out of trouble, which is good to see. So that definitely helps in 24-hour races. Consistency and getting to the end, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, I wasn't very consistent during the night, but Eric is, Bart was, Roy was as well. I actually made a couple of mistakes, and there was this issue with the penalty because I crashed, and when I came into the pit there was no penalty for me, so I was able to go straight back out, which of course wasn't meant to happen, I think. So maybe that's something that needs looking at after the race. I don't know what the issue was there. Maybe something with the plug-in, or
Yeah,
it was
kind
of strange.
Yeah, probably would be, I would suspect. We've got a bit of a line-up in the chat room.
We do indeed, right. Thank you very much for joining us, Andreas. It's been a pleasure to have you in again,
Yeah,
and
my
as I say,
pleasure.
make sure to join back when I'm gone, because I'm going to be heading off sooner rather than later. But perhaps before I finish my stint in the commentary box to breathe life back into the commentary of this event, let's welcome into the room Joshua Anderson and Ollie Woods, both Cosmo and Woods team principals respectively. So let's first of all start off with Joshua Anderson. So Cosmo were top 10 in the early parts of the of this race. Unfortunately, fallen a bit behind now. They're P11. Actually, your next rivals up the roads are the Woods team. We've got 2 laps to grab back on them. I'll ask you the same question as I did with Andreas. Do you see this event as a bit of a disappointment, a success, or just an experience overall? And are you happy with how the day's events have gone?
I'm extremely pleased with how it's gone. I think just getting to the end, as a couple of people have said, will be, an achievement in itself. Well, we're not last, you can say that. There's always that.
Yeah.
We are ahead of the Deltec team. We're actually beating Drake Racing at the moment, so, after the little rivalry we've had with them in the World Sports Series, it's nice to know we're ahead of one of those cars. So, aside from that, though, I'm quite pleased with how it's gone, and, well, I'm happy that we're still going at this point. Matteo obviously had to do a full 4-hour stint earlier today, so full props to him for that. That must take some work. I didn't expect for that to happen. I thought that was slightly, I think, out of the original plan, but, I am pleased with how things are going, and hopefully we can keep this up.
Absolute man he is. But I'll say this again, we've got the 12 hours of the Nordschleife coming up next as our major multi-hour event. We do have the Masters Indy 500 event before that, but 30th of August, is it going to be a date which you're going to be penciling into your Cosmo diary?
Definitely, it will be one that we'll be looking to enter, and we'll hopefully have just as good a lineup as we have here, maybe even better. Who knows? It's probably gonna we'll see what we can do. It's more than likely we'll be making another interesting livery for that series, but, I'm not going to reveal too much.
Oh, are we going to be seeing a change of Miko, or are we going to be seeing more of Miko, or is it still going to be all kept under wraps until closer to the event?
Well, I don't want to reveal too much yet, but, it could be possible. If I could get in touch with Matthew, we might make another sort of partnership and we might see more Miku for the event. Who knows?
You know what I want to see? I want to see a Milka Miko livery. That would just be
good.
The best livery ever.
Well, if Craft Foods are willing to cooperate,
I know Matt's been having a huge amount of trouble trying to get them on board. They just don't seem to reply, which is really rather stubborn, given that they are just Milka. They're not exactly Cadbury's or Galaxy Chocolate, are they? But, well, I mean, obviously Cosmo's not been without its problems. In fact, it seems that every team has suffered some sort of problem in these 24 hours, as is expected. We were saying that pretty much the only team with, say, a 90 to 95% record of not having any problems is the Smile Power team, and that's very much why they lead. Do you think that without your problems you could have been looking at a top 10 finish, or do you think P11 is realistically where you were going to be finishing in the end?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'll probably cause a lot of issues for the team myself. But had we had a perfect run, just for the hell of it, really, I think if we had a completely perfect run without any issues and maybe slightly shorter stints per driver, I definitely think that maybe 7th, 8th, 9th place wouldn't have been out of the question. But it's nothing's out of the, it's not out of the question.
Right, I must apologise for a lack of visuals this time. We've had a game crash from our cameraman, Mr. Dave Carlsmith, so he's just getting that all sorted, and must be said a big thank you once again to Dave for being the soldier throughout this entire event. He's as much of a madman as anyone else who's taken part here. But for Cosmo, it's been a really good day so far, I guess, a good experience for the team, and you're very much a team that likes to take on brand new drivers. You're always willing to take anyone on board, making sure that you get some sim racing experience. How have your rookies done today? It's a huge event to throw them into, but they seem to have done okay to me.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's such a big challenge, but for someone who's maybe not racing GPVWC before, there's a lot of pressure indeed. But I have to give Nick and Matteo full credit for really, they've done brilliantly. I mean, they're both from United States of America, so that's very good for time zones. But Nick himself has participated in 24-hour races before, so he's not quite as much of a rookie. Matteo, though, he's only ever participated in 6 hours, so this is something slightly new for him. If you can count him as rookie, I suppose you could count Quentin Plain as well, because he's never raced for us. I know he's raced for other teams here in GPVWC, but never for Cosmo. So, he's done quite well as well. He's in the car at the moment, actually. He's driving the car at the moment, so yeah, they've all done very well.
Excellent. Well, if you don't mind, Josh, I'm going to have a little private time with Ollie now as well, because he's been waiting patiently. The Woods team. Alright. Woods, 10th place. How's the event been for you lot? Obviously, you guys, like so many other people, have found the barrier a couple of times. But overall, still a top 10 for Woods. It's a good day, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good laugh, considering we weren't actually going to be doing anything come Wednesday when we had Chris, and that was about it. We've been very fortunate to keep going through the night and still be going on the track now. I'm really proud of the guys for their efforts today, and a little bit proud of myself for actually being able to drive a car without crashing it too many times. I think 2 big ones and maybe 1 little one over the last 2.5 hours or 3 hours that I've driven, so I'm quite happy with that.
12 hours of the Nordschleifer is next, is the major big event. What are your plans for the Woods team there? I mean, obviously, there have been a couple of teams who have struggled to both find and indeed retain drivers, and I know, I can sympathise with you on that one. It is a huge strain on us team managers, because all of a sudden you're panicking trying to find any drivers where you can. So is the motivation still there to put in Woods for the 12 hours of the Nordschleifer, and perhaps is the plan maybe to retain the drivers that you have now for that event, or is it going to be a clean slate, or perhaps are you not going to enter at all?
We'll certainly be there. whether we have drivers or not, we'll soon find out. But yeah, it'd be nice if we can hold on to Calvin, Mark, and Chris, because sure we're not winning the race, but who cares? We've had a great time, and they've worked so hard for it, and I'd happily have those guys on my team anytime.
And that's what Le Mans 24 Hours is all about. It's about having fun.
Exactly.
It's about getting to the end. And at this rate, they'll be getting good points as well for their Masters Championship hunts. And actually, that's an interesting aspect to talk about with you. Obviously, you're entering the Woods car, but Woods, the racing team, doesn't per se get anything out of it because there's no team's championship in the Masters. How has that aspect of things changed your view on the event as a team manager? Because obviously, you're not really fighting for anything as a team. You're not gaining anything through that. Perhaps maybe a bit of pride, in where you finish. But have you approached this event any differently to events before? I mean, obviously, it's a 24-hour event, but the team not so much having as much of an impact here. The Woods name so much.
Yeah, I guess there's always the issue of pride and bragging rights. So you want to do the best you can, even if it really matter too much in the grand scheme of things for Woods. But the guys that are racing, they want the best team around that they can, so they don't end up being screwed in their hunt for the points. Admittedly, it means that you don't always aim for having the quickest guys, because it doesn't matter too much if you don't have a team of race winners, because it's not going to give you a prize or anything. But I guess with us, it didn't really matter anyway, because we were so finding it so hard to find drivers that it was just all about having somebody to do the car. And in the end, we got a team that actually I'm really happy with, and a team of guys that I know well. And I'm going to go and give Mr. Fuller a beer at some point. He's just down the road from me.
Fantastic. It's good to actually have drivers who are close to you as well. I've not met any online races or anything in my time, so it would be nice to actually do that. And well, would you like to see this 24-hour event become an annual thing for GPVWC? I mean, it certainly seemed to have had a positive impact on all fronts.
Only if we have more cameramen.
Yeah, well, more cameramen is always good. I'd absolutely love to see it happen again. I think my wife might be a bit grumpy, like she isn't here now, but she decided to bring the dog to come and say hello to me at one point when I was driving, and he came and licked my face because she was a bit bored without me.
Fucking pissed off, more like it.
Sorry.
Morning, Rosie.
Morning to Rosie.
Oh dear. I'd love to see it happen again next year. That'd be great fun. I'll definitely try and do more than a couple of stints next year as well.
No.
Oh dear.
Love a bit of Rosie Woods on the broadcast. It's excellent stuff. But I tell you what, we would like a bit more cameramen. We'd also like a commentator who actually sticks around for the amount of time which he said he was going to do. That'd be great. So
That's not his fault. 24 hours.
24 hours is a long time, but this isn't a 15-minute break. I mean, how long has Smithy been gone now, Dave? Has it been, 5 or 6 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours? That's not 15 minutes. That's like saying, I'll only take a minute and then taking 10. It's taking liberties. Like cars cutting the final chicane.
I think
the takeaway bingo overwhelmed him.
I think so.
I think we need to send a search party, frankly.
Maybe do, yeah.
I to be honest, I had offered to send not a search party, but a brass band outside the press.
That would be brilliant as well.
I'm not sure how it would have gone down, but we had to try something, and obviously that would have been a very, very effective way to get Smith.
Knowing Simon, he'd probably just start playing along on his piano with them, wouldn't he? Just Simon Smith. I can see the poor scene though of him just lying on the bed with takeaway bingo boxes littered around him. We wish you well, Simon. And sorry.
The thing is, like, that's his usual Saturday night. It wouldn't have been out of character. That's how he always ends up. But no, I'm just joking. Obviously, Smithy, we want you back with us, and
please come back, cause the Woods on the broadcast saying it.
You should do. Send round someone in a leather thong and string vest to dance as long as he keeps going.
Yeah, It has to be someone who can wear a leather thong well, though.
Yeah,
you can't
sure,
have no one. Can't have no one.
I'm falling Dave for that one.
From cameraman to leather thong man with a fez. Yes.
I shall remind you all that we're well before the watershed here. It's 11 in the morning.
Or well after the watershed.
Well, Rosie just swore, so you know.
Yeah.
Sorry about
that. All is love and all woods going off again. Just looking at the broadcast now, all is well and fair in 24-hour broadcasts. Can't have a little, as I say, you can't expect the cars to go 100% without a slip up. You can't expect the commentators to go 100% without a slip up, even if that commentary does include a special appearance by Mrs. Rosie Woods. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, Ollie. It's been a pleasure to have you in the box again. And actually, to be fair, I might invite you just to stay in the box for a bit, because I'm afraid that I'm going to have to pop off now.
Sorry, I've got to go anyway. I've got a dog to go and look after.
Very well. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Ollie, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys soon. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Right, so Maps will actually invite the next guy up to take over from me. And it's one of... Oh, maybe not. He's changed his mind. Okay, he's changed his mind.
He can handle it.
He can handle it with Thomas. You guys will be fine. So yes, this will be my final stint, guys. I am off to do lots of preparation for plenty of things. We're going to watch the Austrian Grand Prix as well. Should be a cracking race for sure. But there's no excuse for anyone not to continue watching the 24 Hours of Le Mans, as it does finish about half an hour before. Well, actually, no. When would it finish? I'm not sure when it finishes. Keep an eye on both if you've got a laptop or a PC or your TV's in the near vicinity. Because, as I say, Enterprise may very well catch up for the lead, and THR still have a chance for the podium. So, from me, I hope you've enjoyed this, and good luck to Will and Thomas for the rest of the broadcast. And we do have Matthew Arrington coming in now, I think. But see you all guys later.
Thank you, Matt. See you, go. Alright, well...
Thank you, James, first of all, and it's nice to be back with you, Thomas. I won't be able to stay for an awful amount of time, because some duties, as James mentioned, with the Austrian Grand Prix, obviously, for obvious reasons, I will be called into action very soon, not for any of the driving, unfortunately, but I would also like to take this occasion to thank Lutz Enger and all the staff at Simrace TV for the absolutely amazing work and help they've given us for running this event. It's fair to say that our first ever 24 hours race would have not taken place without a contribution in terms of long hours in technical know-how and assistance, all-around assistance. So it's a massive thumbs up from everybody at GPVWC, our friends and partners at Simrace TV. But obviously we'll be able to chat hopefully about the contribution also later on today.
Yeah, I do agree very much. We should thank them a lot, because obviously that's where our broadcast is going, and it wouldn't be possible without them allowing us to broadcast and helping us along the way. So thank you very much, Simrace TV. Oh, and Matthew Arrington I thought was here, but apparently he's gone again. So we won't have a special guest then, and it doesn't look like anyone wants to chat, so that's a shame. But yes, hopefully Smithy will be back soon. Well, I don't know what the hell's happened to him. I'm actually kind of worried. I think we should actually literally alert the authorities or something, because it seems kind of strange. He's disappeared, but I guess we'll just roll with that. But let's have a look at the gaps. Right, let me get my split timer up here. Let's have a look at the gaps. Well, there's not really any huge battles happening at the moment. Everyone's pretty spread. There's not really anyone close. Everyone's a good lap or two away from each other. So it's a bit quiet at the moment on track, but it's a minute 56 now between the leaders and under lap, looks like, as well. So there's quite a distance to close in. I don't think that's really changed much since they arrived. They're both lapping right about the same. 4.5 for Fran last lap, 1.2 for Boyd last time round, and they're more than lapping in the 403s. So it's pretty close pace at the front, and I have a hunch, just have this feeling that that's how it's going to be for the rest of the race at the front, barring some kind of massive incident. What do you think, Will?
Well, I mean, looking at the live timing, I don't see the possibility of anything changing. There's obviously always the possibility of a mistake. We have to remember it's in 20 hours effectively since the start of the race, and there's a lot of tired faces. Yeah, they've had the sleep. Yeah, they've had the shifts. All racing nonetheless. It's a lot of tension, and it's a lot of stuff that accumulates on you. And when you're not mentally totally clear and lucid, that's when mistakes do happen. And a mistake at this stage can be very costly, even if it's not a huge one. But it can set you back. It can cost you top line speed on the massive straights, and it can be not race ending, but it can reopen a battle that, by looking at the timesheets, you would be disclosed.
Yes, it's very, very true indeed. And a lot of them, as we said, have look at them a couple laps apart. In fact, I think the only two here that are on the same lap is between FA Racing and Zurich. Only two here on the same lap. Oh, and the leaders, yet they are on the same lap, first and second. But otherwise, everyone else is a good couple laps behind. But you're very right, especially in the lead. Like a Smile Power, Fran maybe misses his braking point, smashes into the wall, something like that. That can be the spanner in the works that's needed to just bring that battle together and really make that a very fiery battle indeed. But again, as you can see the pace there, it's still very much in Fran's favour, as we were saying before. Boyd just not quite up there with Fran in the pace. Fran a bit quicker in the 4s, and sorry, Boyd in the 402s. So it's a bit of a shame, really. It'd be nice to get that, have a nice little battle there at the end to the flag, but at the rate it's going, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but hopefully things will fire up.
Look, yeah, I guess for the chasing drivers, it's just a matter of keep pummeling in and keep putting in the laps, and hope that something happens ahead of you. But obviously, if an occasion arises, you have to be there and be able to take it. So it's tension, and it's very high requirements on both ends of the spectrum for both the people who are in front and the people who are behind.
Yes, that's very true indeed. And I just actually noticed something there. Waters there. Waters racing team there, Eric, doing a 3:56 back there in 9th place. So quickest guy on the track right now. That's in Harley Hamnet territory right there. So I just noticed that then, which is quite impressive considering how far back in the field he is. So that's good work to see from Waters. They're not giving up. They're still punching along, even though they're down 9th place. Keep going, and that's good pace to see from Eric. He really seems to be getting into grips with that car there.
Case perhaps too little, too late.
Yeah,
definitely not too little, because he obviously needs a massive lap time. But they are effectively nine laps behind the car in front, PSA car 1. So it's very unlikely they will.
Yeah, it's very true, but it is still good to see that they're still putting in as much as they can, even though they are 9 laps off the pace of the guy ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's all very. Everyone seems to be about the low 4s there. That seems to be the pace everyone appears to be lapping at. Again, the lead there, Fran, 3:59s, and again, Boyd, 4:02. So that gap just keeps slowly opening up, which is kind of a shame, because it'd be nice to see a big old battle. But to be fair, we've had plenty of action here already at the 24-hour race. Plenty of crashes and everything. I know I've had my couple of crashes already, so I'm definitely not the white knight of this race. But do I just hang on a second? Do I just see Smithy? Are you there, Smithy?
Morning!
He's here.
Oh,
The man is back.
Smithy, that's not 15 minutes.
Oh dear, that was a bit fatal, wasn't it? I thought, oh dear. To defend myself, I have been really, really ill for the last God knows how long. So,
that is nothing compared to how we'll make you feel in the rest of this broadcast.
Smithy, be honest, was it the takeaway bingo?
Yeah.
No, I think it's. Well, I've been the last. Dave can vouch for this. The last month or so, I've had to be in hospital every other day for various shenanigans. which does include being pushed over by a Down syndrome person in the middle of that. But yeah. So apologies all. But I just fell asleep.
Yeah, I had a suspicion that was what it was. I mean, you had been up for, was it 13 hours or something? So it was a damn top effort in my books. So, you know, it was good effort either way. But it's good to have you back here for the end because it's nice to have some extra commentators. And you're actually quite full. Got you, got Chris here, Will, me. I mean, Dave. Everyone's here. Very popular.
What did I miss?
About 5 hours of complete silence.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think for about 2 or 3 hours it was literally just silence, wasn't it, Dave? And then a couple of hours.
Yeah, it
we
was
had a couple
5 hours of
coming
just
in.
me doing cameras and nothing else.
Oh.
Yeah, but we've last couple of
sorry,
hours
Dave.
had people trying to come in and lighten it up. But good timing to come back right for the end, so we can finish off with a blast, as it were.
I have just literally woke up, so sorry.
That's fine. It's all good. Just keeps on running. Let's just have a look here. It's 2 minutes 1 now. Leaders Boyd's fallen back again. Still, just that pace not with Fran, unfortunately. So hopefully that can close up. But again, I guess it would need to be some kind of a big accident for Fran for that to happen. And even then, I mean, with the repair times being at best or at most probably 90 seconds, it'd have to be a big crash for that to happen, I'd say.
Oh, that's nice. We've still got all 13.
Yeah, the Deltek's
Yes.
been having some troubles the last half hour or so, but they're still going.
Yeah, they're still trundling along. It's credit to them. I mean, and as we were talking about before, with guys at the back who are still trundling along. You know, why do you do it? Of course, I'd say it's for the enjoyment. Of course, for the 24-hour to complete it and just having fun driving. That's certainly why I am happy to do it, even if I wasn't really on the pace. So it's still a lot of fun. So I don't know if I noticed when I was driving, I was told by Tom Jacobs, he was doing some engineering spotting for me. I noticed that when I went straight line through the Porsche S's, the broadcast happened to be on me. That was nice to see. As I come out of pit lanes, straight line the Porsche S's, well, broadcast saw it.
Sorry.
That's fine, Dave, it's fine. That was my fault for doing straight lining it. Nighttime, cold tyres, should be a bit more careful. I'll have to learn that.
So how was night compared to day?
Yeah, it was different. Definitely, I think it definitely is the I've heard a few people say it, and it is true. I think when you're at night, you definitely feel a bit nervous. You're a bit cautious. It's just the lack of light. You're like, oh, geez, if I do this, a bit cautious here, a bit cautious here. When it gets to day, just that day, just suddenly like, oh, it's day. Oh, it just brings you up. It's just really suddenly upbeat. All of a sudden, you can really. I felt I could push it really hard afterwards. And we had to actually, when the second stint, when I went to switch, I had to disconnect because obviously here in Australia, internet is just dreadful. So unfortunately, the first stint we switched fine; it was perfectly fine. But the second one, unfortunately, we had to DC, so we had to take the penalty and come out. It did mean we had a new car though, so it was definitely like the car felt magic. But unfortunately, had a couple of little instances which gave it some damage, and we had to repair them. But yeah, it was definitely different, I found, but good fun nonetheless.
And you saying about having a new car and things like that, do you how much time do you think that gains you for getting that, or do you think it's kind of negated anyway by the penalty?
Well, I mean, the penalty, I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes, so it was a lot of time to catch up, so I think it was basically negated by it, but the car definitely felt a lot better. Like, I was having I was doing probably about 4 or 5 seconds quicker per lap with the new car. It just felt, it was doing quicker in a straight line, and it felt like absolute magic through the final sector. So, yeah, it definitely helped a lot, but for a penalty, no, I don't think it was really worth it for the penalty, but, nothing much we could do about that with the DC, so.
Jacobs has just tweeted him, well soon Simon, even if it's just a troll Tom. Okay, job done. Or Jacobs.
I could actually mention, talk about Tom. Where is Tom here? I haven't actually seen what he's been doing this whole time. I'm not really paying attention to my own team. That's very disappointing of me. But how's it going? He's been doing all right from what I've seen. We're still in 8th place, so we're doing all right. Tom's been doing good. I just noticed. Who was it? Was it no, it wasn't Deltec. It was, I don't remember. It was one of the cars anyway. One of the lap cars almost got in the way in the tangle there with Jacobs earlier on. I think it was Indianapolis, but hopefully no contact, so it was all right.
I just noticed we've got Chris in here as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, we could ask Chris about your race for Woods, Chris. How's it actually been going today with you driving for Woods? Has it been going all right? The setup working well?
Generally speaking, it's been going pretty smoothly. Not had any disconnections or big crashes. Touch wood.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's nice to have it.
On the stints, just had one minor off and got a puncture on, I think, my second stint, but that was about it.
Oh, yeah, we're doing better than I did, so you're doing well. So, yeah, it's nice, just as long as you can be consistent, as you're saying. Well, I mean, you have to be quick, just be consistent, and you'll make up a lot of time, as being the nature of 24-hour events. So it's good to hear. So have you done night and day stints, or just one of each?
Well, our kind of scheduling went a little awry. Done a few extra unplanned stints, but done a bit of day and a bit of nights now.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, is it very how different, as Simon asked me? How's the difference between the night and day? Is there a difference in pace? How hard you can push? You found?
For me, yes, definitely. At night, I'm just a lot more cautious, especially when it comes to picking your braking points. Guess maybe 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower at night for me, personally.
Yeah, I think that was pretty similar for me actually too. You're always very cautious on the braking points, I found, that's for sure. But I think we have David Jump there when you talk to us. Do you want to maybe drag him up and ask him what's going on? Hello there, David. Welcome to the box, as it were. How's things going for you? You just finished a stint. How was it?
Well, my stint was, apart from that, I did about 5 laps prior to the race. Yeah. I thought it would be okay, and I came in as well. You came in as 4th placed, and I then had to know that I had to catch back a lap more to Morton and the breaker. And well, I then got told by Tommy, who was actually desperately having someone to come in because Chris didn't come. Don't know what happened. And I've heard that there was a crash in the night, and Ivan got a penalty. I think he didn't do spectator mode, he got kicked. And well, then I was trying to get up to speed, and even with, I thought at the beginning of about below 4 minutes, I was reeling in more, who's probably spent a long time in the car now. And I think in the second stint I finally caught him, but then made a mistake after the Dunlop corner and had oversteered, tapped the wall a little bit, and my there's some dots between the rear end and the inside of the car that got yellow, and ever since then my speed was about 275 km per hour, and I noticed that I couldn't catch Morton anymore. I was doing 358, 59, and suddenly I couldn't hit 4 minutes flat. And since then it was like wrestling close to him and passing him, and the worst thing is, I think there's something wrong either with our games or with so, because as soon as you're 1 second behind the car, you get horrible warping, and that's what made it hard to pass him without actually driving him off the road. And now we decided to put Ivan back in the car, so we get the damage back, and I think the car's okay for now. But the damage took about, at least it gets repaired in the background, but we have a 79 to 80 second pit stop, and that took us more 15 seconds. And I'm currently just thinking we should try to keep 4th place, because Simcraft is about 2.5 laps behind us, and if I keep the pace until next time they go in or something, I should be fine to keep 4th. And from now on, I only think that we're gonna hope that there are people, maybe someone crashing ahead, because otherwise, I think we should be fine with 4th place in the end.
Yes, that's very true indeed. Especially when you're saying there about the warping earlier, I was finding as well for me when I was driving along, that was something that I was having a little trouble with. A bit worried that I was going to knock someone off just because they were warping around the place, but thankfully I didn't. Thankfully, otherwise I would have felt like a real bugger. But anyway.
Well, the interesting thing is, if you, the 1 second, 5 tenths behind, it really looks like really bad. You can't quite tell if you're now going to hit him or if you're not going to hit him. And I think as soon as Austin looked at the mirrors, his car was not warping anymore. So I don't quite understand how this happens. I think I might have experienced it once, maybe a year ago, at I think Le Mans League that we took part in, and I think won it at MP2 Cup, but don't know.
Yeah, it's very true. It is a bit weird. I found the same thing, yeah. Very true. When they got past, it was all wobbly, but once they're behind me, no worries at all. It was as if they were just nothing. So, very strange. Yeah, I'd suspect it's something to do with the lag or something with the server would be my guess, but you never know, I guess. But how have you found doing this endurance race, David? Has it been, obviously it's very different to WSS, sprint races, now you're suddenly doing 2-hour stints. But how's it been? Have you found it a big difference in how you drive, or have you sort of just been driving the same?
Tough to tell yet, since I did this was my first stint. Looking back, I should have driven yesterday night already, but at least you could say with 5 practice that wasn't gonna go that well. No, I think it's a bit weird. Sometimes in another Porsche Championship we raced in for THR, I was in the end for the first time the best THR car placed in the championship. And I have to say that the handling of the Porsche is a bit weird to me still. Even though I did do really well in World Sports Series, the car has maybe a statistic that the feeling on the braking is a bit. It's not my driving style usually, I think, but I seem to do quite well with it. I feel like on the braking, the car tries to move and it's at understeer in the turns, but somehow I seem to actually still enjoy the car, because I think the mod is very well done. The car mod looks good, and I still quite enjoy it. But otherwise, driving it here, maybe I'm a bit more conservative since we are not doing like some 15 laps, but 24 hours, and so you shouldn't take too much risks if you want to finish your stints on a normal basis. I mean, we've got a regen block in, so you can come back, but that doesn't mean that you can just go risk everything and then crash every 5 laps. So it's a bit more of being conservative, and in my case, having lack of practice time, I'm probably even a bit slower than I could have gone. But yeah, it's different, but in the end, it's from the driving style probably quite similar to how I usually drive.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I've found the same. I actually was driving kind of like I usually do, and that's possibly a bit too risky as my spins were showing. I was definitely possibly pushing a bit too hard than I should have. I certainly do think that with these races, you just got to try and be more consistent. Don't try and drive the wheels off the car. But I definitely was finding I was sort of, just being a bit too hard at times, which is why I was spinning as the times I did.
I was just thinking, driving in, David and Chris haven't done Simon's Secret Sausage 7 questions.
No, they haven't.
Phil, is that why you came in, David?
That's why everyone comes
I
in.
was listening.
Oh,
Yesterday
oh, oh, all the
You better
fun,
get them
all the
out.
fun. There we go.
Oh,
You're doing
look,
so
everyone's joining.
professionally
Everyone's
well
joining.
there. Ah, so
No, please do go ahead. I want to hear the answers to these. It'd be great.
because you've done it, haven't you?
Yes, I was.
Yes.
I was the second one in, was I? That was before I
Yeah,
even drove
you was-
yet.
It seems like such a long time ago.
It does. It seems like years ago, doesn't it? Oh, it's like back
does.
in the day, you know. Just talking about back in the day when I did that interview. Yeah.
Yet for
Yeah.
some people it's only yesterday. So, anywho, right, David and Chris, since you're about, I think we've already had you. So, what are your favourite tracks of all time, David first?
That's quite. I think yesterday I've heard that some people, I think I have been Toby, that enjoy tracks like Spa more than strange tracks like Nürburgring, Nordschleife.
Mhm.
Because I think he said there's so many turns. You can't remember where it goes left or right, and they are not that special. I think because of the challenge, the track is very long, and I think it's even worse than Le Mans because it's long and it has very tricky turns, and you can quite lose the car everywhere. And I still think, as we are going to do that, still to come, I think I'll quite still enjoy the Nordschleife ever. I think even Gran Turismo or wherever, I like that the Nordschleife to drive because it was very long, tricky, and cars were all over the place. And actually, this weekend the real race is going on. Yeah. I would be watching, of course, if I was driving. But Nordschleife is actually, I've got some few tracks I like. Just like tracks like they have to be. I actually have to say I like tracks that are long because it shows that you can keep consistent to like all of like 4 minute lap. I do like Montreal as well. I'm sure I think I especially love the part from the hairpin back to start finish because it's so fast, and that chicane, getting it right is okay, and if you don't, well, to a Schumacher or a Villeneuve or whatever, going to the World Champions. Apart from that, a track I think that's still maybe used in club race months, Charade, the track Clermont-Ferrand.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. That is, it's not very often. I think GPVWC raced there last time in about 2008 or 9. I think I won it in there after time.
I think it was in Formula Challenge a couple of years ago. The modern layout.
Yes. Yeah, that was when I was Tiger Express Motorsports and leading the FC outfit there. I think we drove there. That's. I think Charade is also a quite different long circuit, and of course, in these days now with all the safety, this track can just host club races if at all, because it's the standard of the safety is not very high. I'd say pit building is not that new.
No one's used that, I think, in F1 since about the 70s, between that and Reims, I think.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any particular favourites?
I think I'd have to go for the Nordschleife. I do like that kind of challenge of the long lap and all the different twists and turns. Maybe an honourable mention to Suzuka. I just love the flow of that track. Strange choice, I guess. Perhaps Shanghai, because that's where I won a GPVWC race.
Aww.
A long time ago.
Oh bless. Back in that will be back in the day, as Thomas would say.
Back in the
Okay.
days.
Actually, I could have extended my list a lot more because I think I take likings to tracks that are not often on the calendar. Actually, I think there are tracks like Potrero de los Funes, who is very challenging in my eyes, not often used, or Autopolis.
That is a nice track, to be fair.
Yeah, and they look good. Sometimes I need some eye candy to think, that's a good looking track, and like driving it. Even though I think my only running in Potrero was in a wet version of it, and my driving was horrible.
Oh, cool. Okay, what's your favourite racing series to watch? as a spectator and a fan?
I guess you mean, of course, real life.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, I've watched like every Formula One race, and even if there are talks about they are pretending to get green, they're pretending to get turbo engine to save money, and that they sound crap, and I don't care. I just watch. I want to have some action, excitement, and I just want some general racing. I mean, important is for me that I have something to watch that is interesting. I want to see battles and all that stuff, and talking just about how crap everything is, and even when there is good battling, and I just talk about how crap everything is, about sound, about the way the thing is going. Even though I just heard that they're going to be doing standing safety car restarts off in 2015, which is, I think, quite dumb. I still watch it, and people question then, why are you going back watching it? We should protest it then, not watch that stuff anymore. So they maybe get back to they realize what horrible thing they're doing. Well, maybe, but I think sometimes they don't care, even if you don't, or if you watch, or if you watch, or if you don't. And there are many people that are still there that still watch it. And after all, it's just as I said, I want to watch some excitement. But actually, I'm not sure if Formula One is my favorite race. Then, I mean, as sim racer, I race like everything. Except I'm not that good at front-wheel driven cars. I think I'm actually too much. But when I'm watching, when I've been looking at what I do best over the years now, about 6-7 years now of sim racing, I think I'm like doing now this race. I'm best at endurance racing because I think about I've won that Le Mans race with THR last year. And then this year at some German endurance series, we've won 2 races with people that have actually been racing, like Matt Richards and Chris Butcher, and I think with James as well, at least in the car. And so I do quite enjoy endurance racing. It shows because since 2006 I'm going to Le Mans with my dad, who's been there first 1969. And even though I've afraid the only good thing that Audi won is that because it was fastest car. Otherwise, I don't enjoy Audi that much. Even though Toyota, I don't want them to win, so Mazda keeps their win. Their only Japanese win. But yeah, endurance racing is, since that's like, even it takes long and you need like the whole weekend, if it's 24 hours or 12 or whatever, you need the whole time to watch that, even if it's shown on TV. But I still enjoy having your endurance, your stamina, your consistency proof over a long time, not just like some sprint race of, I don't know, 2 sprint races of like 15 laps. You have to be consistent and, well, quick, yeah, it's of course a bonus. You have to be good over that whole time. So if you're an alien but you crash like 5-10 laps, like 20 laps, it's not gonna work out. So people maybe that are not that fast but consistent will edge you out and gain podium. So I think endurance racing is quite cool to me.
Cool. We've just had Roy Verzilge into the pits for Walters Automotive. He's just popped in and rejoined, as has Dan Russo for Craig VBM2. Chris, what was your favourite series that you like to enjoy?
Don't know how I can top that rather extensive.
That was an extensive Lord of the Ring trilogy director's extended edition answer to that question.
Could literally, we can make a trilogy of movies out of that. Be sort of Batman-esque, I think. Be quite a good profit. The race fans do it.
For me, I think it's still got to be F1. That's the only race series I regularly watch. I dip into other series every now and then, but even though F1's having its ups and downs, it's arguably on a bit of a down at the moment with the domination of Mercedes, and some of the rule changes are a bit questionable in my opinion. I'm still watching it, still supporting it.
Obviously, we must think alike, because yeah, same thing here. I've always enjoyed it, but kind of a shame that Mercedes are just going to win the championship. I'm just going to call it now. So I know it's a big prediction to say, but you know, I think it's
But
going to
then
happen.
again, it's
regardless,
been the
happens.
same in the past.
It's
Teams
true,
have
obviously, the
dominated.
Well, that argues the important question, though, is how many cars do there need to be in a race to make it exciting? Does it need to be just two? Because if you look back to the late 80s, what a lot of people have argued as the misty-eyed era, and people likening this battle to Prost versus Senna, think of those. That everyone just screams about those eras, but again, that was two cars on their own, and is it just that it's a domination of a team, or is it just a culmination of a lot of things? And then you go, oh well, because they're out front, they're going to win anyway. That's kind of a nice knock on the head, put you to bed kind of thing.
Well,
Go on.
You go, Chris. You
I
go.
think,
Yeah.
I think so long as there's just teammates battling, that's always going to add something to the mix, even if they are like seconds ahead of the pace.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I was just thinking, and I'm people. I know I've seen comments on YouTube videos and various other things. The people I watch. I saw a parody of This Season by a guy called Into the Barrier. Very funny, by the way. If you like F1 comedy, I'd sort of advise going to watch him. He's quite funny. But I was watching one of his, and I saw and he mentioned about the whole how the season's so. The Mercedes is dominating, and the comments are all aflame with all this stuff about how it wasn't as bad as when Vettel was dominating. But personally, I think it is not as bad, because obviously when it was Vettel, it was just Vettel. Like, it was just, well, Vettel's won again, and we'll look, the next guy's 30 seconds back. What a surprise. Whereas here, as you say, at least, teammates are battling. At least there's two of them battling, not just, one of them dominating. So I don't really like it, but I think it is better than when Vettel dominated by himself, to be honest.
And it's better than the height of the Schumacher domination, where it was just a foregone conclusion.
Oh dear, we've just lost Mike Schroten from the game.
Just not the broadcast.
Uh-ohs.
So Mr. Adonis in trouble. They've got
it
2
Roy or
laps.
Mike?
It's Mike. He's 2 laps ahead of the TSA car of Tom Jacobs, so depending on how much of a penalty they'll get and how long it will take him to get back into the server, he should be able to keep hold of 7th position. He was only 1 minute 14 behind the FA racing of Yanni Vananen ahead, so that's really put a blow in to try and catch them.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's about there. It was one that could have developed into a battle, but unfortunately, it looks like the internet gods are not with us. Yeah, they don't want it, apparently.
Sorry, Yanni just nearly lumbered that wall.
All
excited.
What's your favourite racing game?
Well, for me, I've always got a soft spot for Toka 2.
Aww.
Good
choice.
Yeah, it's the first game I kind of were properly playing it for hours and hours and hours. And I suppose that's the first game I really played with car skins as well, because it was kind of customizable if you knew what you're doing.
Yeah, I remember back to the PS1, I used to play, I don't know if it was, in fact, in my cupboard just to the right of me, it's probably still in there somewhere, Toka 1 or 2 on the PlayStation 1. Back in the day, God, that was a long time ago, that was, used to play them a lot back in the day, but good old PS1, they were the good days they were, but yeah, I did just play them, but that was years ago. I'd be interested to try again and just play it again to see the difference. I'm sure I'd look at it and go, wow, why did I think this looked good? It looks so bad.
The on the F1 Rejects website, they've just done an article about Formula 1 in general, and it's when there's like a slight era where things I think have not stood the test of time nearly as well as previous stuff, but the Formula 1 game for like the 1995 season, and I don't guess the Toka games as well, because it's the first time where it's like proper polygons all put together on a console for 3D. Some of those games have really not stood the test of time very well, but the Formula 1 and the Toka ones are kind of the exception to the rule, where you can look at it and you can really still realise exactly what the hell is going on.
That's very true, I would agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I guess it depends on the quality of the game. I think I've forgotten the name of it, which is embarrassing, but is it F1 Grand Prix or something like that? There's one of them on the PC that I know a lot of people are humongous fans of. That's I think way back in the early 2000s. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's old as old, but yet because of the way it looks and just the way it was, it's just still a legend in the industry.
David, do you have a favourite racing game?
I could explain. I think the first time I got a PlayStation, that was Poker 2, and I think Sports Car GT, which was made by Midway or something. I didn't like the Sports Car GT because it was looking so bland. I liked quite Poker 2, especially also the intro was so nice, music, all that. And at that time, PTC was still shown on my region on Eurosport, so of course I knew what was going on about Menu and Plato and drivers back then. But favorite, I'm not quite sure because I also had a Nintendo 64. It was I think my first console, maybe still before that. My first game I ever played was in the supermarket Mario Kart.
The classic.
I never owned it. I just played it there. I still don't own it. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, David. Can I just quickly interject here? Sorry, David. Sorry to cut you off so suddenly, but I just noticed Marius Van Wyck for Deltec has had a big crash down at the chicane there. He's lost the front bumper, and it looks like I'd say front right puncture there. And that's way back at the start of the lap, so he's got to limp around for a whole lap to get back to pit lane. That is going to be a big nail to the coffin there for Deltec. But, I mean, they're still struggling on, so credit to them for keeping going, and if they can finish, credit to them. I'll give them credit.
Roku Sarthe did join in as well, but he's kind of, I think he tried to leave the garage before the penalty was over, because he's been removed from the game again, so they've got to reserve their penalty.
It's all helping my team TSA, I mean.
It is.
No bias.
Sorry, as you were.
As you were, David.
It's still quite hard to say because think about favorite games. Often just thinking about racing games, and on the Nintendo 64, that would be Formula 1 World Grand Prix 1 in the 97 season. And even though I think it was years later, I've got a yearbook now about it. Even years later, when I also heard that, it was the Cheatmocker season. I still like cars. I still like the shapes. Because of the game, I just started loving all about it, and that's why I kinda love that season as well. Because that just gave that the spectator mode. Sometimes we were just watching the cars go around, and so that was just something I went crazy about. I like that game still, even though I haven't played it in time, and I love the scenario mode where you just could be better than the real driver. That was really special something. From World Cup 2, I didn't like as much cars. Like in real life, got so long and was so suddenly so slim, and the cars, the AI was more aggressive, and you went left, they went right, went right, they went left. It was like just weaving on straight, like Hamilton against Petrov. I loved the game on Nintendo 64 the most. But it's like I need to pick games for different consoles because that was racing stuff. I like tow cars. I like Colin McRae's of the past days. That was a really good rally game. Most of the Codemasters stuff in the back in the days were really good, and I really loved it much. And a bit appalled to see what's happening now with what Codemasters think. I like following the Sony way of, we're just gonna do an update every season, new cars, but hey, we don't change anything. At least that's what I feel. I haven't bought any Formula 1 games since I don't know 10, because that's where my favorite game. That's where the Sims come in. That's where Air Factor and Air Factor 2 and Game Stock Car and all this comes in because they feel really good to drive, and I enjoy them most when I drive them online because that's maybe the other change I made coming from the consoles to PC games, because I wanted to race other people and I wanted to compare myself to them. That's when my PC was just good enough. I started doing that, and ever since then, playing racing game with controller feels strange, and this is really hard to move car with that control car with that way. And since then, I think I went bad at Gran Turismo and all the stuff on the PlayStation 3, and since because of Sims I'm enjoying, I don't intend on buying PlayStation 4 because how much time I'm gonna spend with it? Just gonna show it to the brother, but he's just playing GTA, so still on the PS3, so we don't really see that, and he's got now a PC as good as me, so even though he's not into racing, he's not watching racing itself, he loves to crash cars and all stuff, but yeah, I mean, if I could
Formula
pick
challenge
a
for
game,
him then.
if I could pick a game that isn't a racing game, then I would go to PS2 Zone of the Enders, because it has that mecha theme and anime sequence that I really like about that game, and I wish Kojima would finally stop doing Metal Gear Solid and do some Zone of the Enders again.
Yes, that needs to come back. I will agree with that one. Matt Richards has just taken over in the Simcraft racing car. Welcome back, Matt, who is similarly feeling rough, so he's back out there again. Marius Van Wyk has now made it back into the pits. Riku Sarpilla has rejoined the server, but is now serving his penalty. So,
hopefully this time he'll stay.
yeah, stay down, Riku, stay down. Down, boy, down.
Very good.
So yes, that's all of that.
Sorry, if I just mind.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's kind of related to what I was saying earlier about. He was saying that Dave was saying about the AI there in games. It's a question that I'll ask this to everyone here. A question I have that I've just been thinking of. I actually did this. I've got a blog that I do on gaming, and I actually did a comparison between two racing games on. But
give it a shout out.
Well, okay, it's TKH on video gaming is the name of it, on Blogspot if you want to have a look at it. I haven't actually posted anything in a couple of months, mind you, so it's a bit bland, but I will put more stuff. I will. I have a mid-year break from university now, so I have no excuse anymore, so I will put more stuff up, but what my question is obviously like Gran Turismo 5, even number 6, the new ones, the AI is very straight. They don't deviate. They just have a set line and they don't change. They'll overtake you, but that's about it. So, would you prefer that where maybe they're sort of straight? They won't be as erratic, so to speak, but they'll be more consistent, I guess, and they'll actually try to overtake you but they won't defend? Or would you prefer, like I think it's in the Codemasters F1 games, the AI more defend, like if you go to try to pass, they'll block to the inside, and not all the time, but sometimes they'll go to defend the inside and so on, but they don't overtake as much, not as aggressive. So would you prefer have aggressive overtaking AI with less defense, or more defense, less overtaking?
If I put one ahead, it's not the Formula 1 series of Codemasters, but the Grid game still. I think I played one or two. And that's where that was one game where drivers actually spun out. I can't remember. Drivers go around, spin off. It looked a bit script to me. I mean, as soon as you were close and off. At least it made the game a bit more interesting because people were just driving around. It's like deciding between, do you want to like they're trying too hard, like scripted drivers spin out and so, or do you want like stupid people that are just driving in a line and like follow you like a shadow? But that's about it. I mean, I've heard about race games that have like a percentage. As soon as you notice you are fast, much faster than them, they will start to get faster according to your pace. So you'll not get away. It's just a bit strange because I can remember that like when I spin out and I'm like last, they're driving like they're on the drugs or sleeping. And then I come back, I would take them, and as soon as I'm ahead, they're like crazy over my arse. And I'm not sure. That's a bit. I mean, would that happen with Alonso? He's turtling around as long as Chilton is behind him, but as soon as Chilton is past, Alonso wakes up and thinks, "Oh, I have to pass you at all costs." Bit of the Joyo, the like a gum effect, you know, from back to forth and all that. Coming back to that, when I said about aggressive people in the F1 World Grand Prix 2, much more aggressive than 1. Maybe it was just me being annoyed. Hey, I'm ahead. Stop going left, right when I block. And I mean, I was like 10, 11. I'm not quite sure anymore. But I just was annoyed at that. At least there was something happening at the right. I think when you block left side, I don't know. I got right and tried to pass through, even though they gain a strange speed advantage. I think in the game that would take longer to explain probably. Yeah, I like games that try to at least overtake you. That the people not just drop back and then you never see them again. Because in Gran Turismo, if you say that in 6 they're still doing that straight line thingy and like not overtaking, that's like nothing has happened since 3. 3 was my first game. I got gifted. I think somebody bought it for me present. And back then I hated doing licenses and thought, oh, what a shit game, because I didn't like doing license stuff. I want to race. That's what I want to do. At least in Gran Turismo 4 they were mocking you by if you were going wrong at one license and didn't make it, they were playing yellow. Oh yeah, failed. Yeah, so nothing has happened since 3 for me then, and I think that's a bit sad because they've done anything in like 8 years. No, 8 is not enough, but not the point. It's like they need as long as Duke Nukem Forever to come out to even make the AI better. And sometimes on Le Mans, when I drove the Group C or the 24 races, they were going 300 and suddenly bang to the left to the wall. They were clumpering that until they were like down to 50 or 0 kilometers per hour, and then they started driving normally again. And I thought, okay, interesting AI. And sometimes, even in the normal cars, when they were side by side, it's like the car on the ideal line was thinking, oh, I'm just on the ideal line, okay. And there was the other car on the other side, which was like, I don't know, overtaking. And when they were into a corner, oh, this is my place, this is my place. They were rubbing against each other and driving into each other like the other car isn't there. They just dumbly try to get that line, and it's like lemmings driving against each other, and I don't know. But I think I don't like that. I think if you go into, I think they removed that B-spec thingy now. Back then, if you were going in and 24 hours drove like your tires off, they were never seeing you again, and then the B-spec could take it easy if it was maybe crap. But I would like some intelligent AI, not too scripted. Well, of course, I think everything has a program code, so it happens that they make mistakes. Still like great that they did, much more than Gran Turismo like not doing anything, because you need like in D-Sec that doesn't happen in normal cars. I think you need the tires to be shit, so it's very worn. You need the drivers to in D-Spec you would need to make the push like hell to go off. I think that's just too sterile. Just nothing is happening there. There's just no more to that drive, like everything like that. The driver are not getting tired. I think they didn't in 5, 4, and so I think I enjoy that make mistakes more interesting. Was more interesting than just when nothing happens at all. So yeah, I like the grid way. Not overdoing it, but it's a good way.
Great. What we'll have to do there, just because we're coming to the end of a broadcasting section, we're going to have to do a restart. We're going to have to thank you very much, David, for popping in and saying hows. And we shall catch you.
That means I've taken too long to answer all the questions.
No, that's fine. That is fine. But we will have to do a broadcast G reset, and we've got some people that we need to dive into. So we can always come back to you later. Don't worry. There is plenty of time. This thing has been going for 20 hours anyway. So.
Unless I don't drive for the last 3 hours, no.
Oh, no problem. Well, good luck anyway, and we shall catch you in a bit, Dave. Cheers.
Yeah, David.
Lovely. Well,
Alright.
I think. How many laps could we have done for each us? That is a guy that's passionate.
Yeah, well, it was good. You know, he explained things very in depth. It's good to see. You know, I like that. Credit to him. But
We're going to have to go for a quick Breakaroo. Jesper Tallberg has just taken over the Smile Power car, and on that note, we're going to do a quick broadcast reset, and we'll be back with you very shortly.